Hi, I'm going to show you how to make a Regaliz leather bracelet today. I've got my components and my leather picked out, and the first thing I'm going to do is going to cut my leather. And generally we recommend starting with 7 inches, and that way you can always trim it up a little bit if it's feeling a little too big. 7 inches is good for most women, and if you're doing a men's bracelet, we recommend starting with 8 inches at least, unless they're a big guy. But anyway, so I'm going to cut my leather. I'm going to use a box cutter with a really sharp blade, and I'm basically getting it flat on my ruler here, and then I'm going to just slice through straight down. That's 7 inches, like I'm slicing through butter. And I've got my leather cut. Now I just need to put my components on. So I can start sliding them on. See, these bracelets come together pretty quickly once you've got everything picked out. And just need to put my last little guy on there. So now I've got my bracelet, and this would be the time I could kind of, test it out a little bit and see if it's going to be a little bit too big or too small. I have a really small wrist, and the clasp add just a little over 1 inch, so if it's feeling like it's going to be way too big, again, you could do a little bit of trimming and then put your clasp on. But make sure you don't get it too small, because what happens is if the leather doesn't quite bend real easily, but if you get a lot of components on there, you need that to make the curve. So anyway, then now we're going to put on our clasp, and I'm going to use a snap clasp, which basically works like this. We also have a magnetic clasp, which basically once you get it on the leather, it works a little better, but it looks like this, and basically you want to just press it down to make it, and then basically, but I'm going to use the snap clasp at the moment. So first I want to make sure I've got the clasp and kind of positioned how I want it. So I'm going to start with the one side, and we recommend Super New Glue, which is great glue for metal and leather, and you can use really any glue that's specifically designed for leather and metal, but this is a real, it sets up really fast. It comes with a nice little applicator, so you don't make a big mess trying to get it out of the thing. So I'm just going to put a little glue around there, and basically I'm just going to hold that on there a minute so it sets up. And then I want to make sure, again, I'm positioning my other side so it will be where I want it. And so I'm going to get that off of there. And then see if this goes on. It's sticking a little bit, so I'm going to basically use a little bit of a fine nail file, or if you had real fine sandpaper, you can kind of trim, smooth off the edges, and sometimes when you cut it, you don't get it quite cut cleanly. So that's seeming like that's going on well. So basically I want to put a little glue in there and stick that in there and hold that a second. And usually I let it dry a little bit before I clasp it, but basically you would clasp it together, and then after it dries, I would probably, shape it a little bit more. But there you go.